The power of words. I was a young boy. I liked to laugh, but my laughter was not always kind. I laughed at people when they made mistakes. I laughed at people when they looked different. I thought it was only a game. At school, I called other children funny names. They looked sad, but I did not care. I told myself, it is just a joke. It is nothing. My friends laughed with me, and that made me feel strong. One day, I laughed at a girl in my class. She wore old shoes, and they were broken. I pointed at her and made a joke. The whole class laughed. The girl looked down at the floor. Her face turned red, and her eyes filled with tears. I saw her cry, but I did not stop. I thought I was clever. I thought everyone liked me because I was funny. I did not understand how deep my words could hurt. That night, I remembered her face. I could not forget her tears. For the first time, I felt something strange inside my heart. It was not happiness. It was heavy, and it made me quiet. The next day at school, I saw the same girl again. She did not smile. She sat alone at her desk and looked down at her books. Nobody talked to her. She was quiet, like she wanted to disappear. I felt proud for a moment. I thought, she is afraid of me. Everyone laughs at my jokes. But then I looked closer. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes were red. She was not just quiet, she was hurt. At lunch, my friend asked me to make another joke. He said, "Say something funny again. We like it when you laugh at people." I opened my mouth, but I could not speak. I only remembered the girl's sad face. I watched the other children. Some laughed with me, but some did not. They looked away, like they did not want to hear. Maybe they did not think I was funny. Maybe they thought I was mean. That day, I went home with heavy thoughts. I looked in the mirror and asked myself, why do I laugh at others? Do I make them happy, or do I make them cry? I did not have an answer. Days passed, but I could not forget the girl's tears. Every time I laughed at someone, I started to see their sad faces in my mind. The jokes did not feel fun anymore. They felt sharp, like little stones in my heart. One afternoon I heard two boys whispering about me. They said, "He is always making fun of people. He is not kind. He is just cruel." Their words cut me deeply. For the first time, I realized people were laughing, but not because they liked me. They were laughing because they were afraid of being my next joke. That night, I lay in bed and thought hard. My room was quiet, but my head was full of noise. I asked myself again and again, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to hurt, or do I want to help? The next morning at school, I saw the girl again. Her shoes were still old and broken. She walked slowly, with her head down. I wanted to say something, but my mouth felt dry. My heart was full of guilt. In that moment, I understood something important. Words can be soft like a hug or sharp like a knife. I had been using my words like knives, and now I wanted to change. The next week, I tried to be different. When my friends told me, say something funny about him, I shook my head. I said nothing. They looked at me with surprise. Some laughed, but I stayed quiet. Later that day, the girl dropped her book on the floor. The whole class looked at her. For a moment, I wanted to make a joke, like before. But I stopped myself. I walked over, picked up her book and gave it back. She looked at me with wide eyes, not sure what to say. She whispered, "Thank you." Her voice was soft, but it stayed in my heart. It was the first time I had ever helped her. It felt strange, but it also felt good. It was not the same as making people laugh. It was better. That night, I told myself, I will try harder tomorrow. I will not use my words to hurt. I will use them to help. My heart felt lighter. For the first time, I began to understand kindness. Still, it was not easy. My friends asked me again and again to make fun of others. I felt the old habit pulling me back, but I also remembered the girl's smile when I helped her. That small smile gave me strength. Little by little, I changed. I spoke less, and I listened more. When I wanted to make a joke about someone, I stopped myself. I thought, how would I feel if someone said that to me? The answer was always the same. I would feel hurt. One day, a boy in my class dropped his lunch tray. The food spilled on the floor, and everyone laughed. For a second, I almost laughed too. But then I saw his face, red, embarrassed and full of shame. I stood up, picked up his tray, and helped him clean. The other students looked at me with surprise. Some even began to help. The boy smiled and said, "Thank you." It was a small moment, but it meant a lot to me. I understood that helping someone made me feel stronger than laughing at them. It gave me a different kind of power, kindness. That night, I thought about the past. I thought about all the times I had hurt people with my words. I wished I could take them back, but I knew I could not. What I could do was change the future. From that day, I promised myself, my words will not be knives anymore. My words will be soft. My words will make people feel safe. And slowly, I began to feel proud, not for being funny, but for being kind. Time passed, and people started to see me in a new way. I was no longer the boy who made others cry. I was the boy who tried to help. Slowly, classmates began to talk to me without fear. They smiled when I walked by, not because of jokes, but because they felt safe with me. One afternoon, the girl I had laughed at the most came to me. She said, "You are different now. You are kinder. Thank you." Her words were simple, but they touched my heart. I realized how much pain I had caused her before, and how much better it felt to make her smile instead. I learned an important lesson. Words are powerful. They can hurt or they can heal. They can break someone's heart or they can make someone strong. I had learned the hard way, but I had learned. Now, when I see someone being laughed at, I do not join in. I stand up for them. I say, stop. That is not funny. I know how it feels to be on both sides, and I choose kindness. This is my story. I was once unkind, but I changed. I hope others can learn from my mistakes. If we use our words with care, we can make the world softer, brighter, and full of respect. That is true strength.